stop.
Yeah, I was just gonna point it out. Like switch from.
Why don't you click the like button? And if you want more great content from Good, Bad, or Bullshit, push subscribe.
Remind me, I have a question to ask you about live streaming later.
Oh, okay.
Because we're about to do the show. I don't want to distract us. But then,
is it a short answer question or a long answer?
All for the love of God, just start the show.
That is the answer to your question.
All right, for the love of God. All right, the Good, Bad, or Bullshit episode 151 of our epic audio journey. Just waiting for the motorcycle to go by. Begins in 5, 4. Hello and welcome to the Good, Bad, or Bullshit podcast. 3 guys, unlimited opinion, and gnarly auditory oral conversation. Okay, I forgot what the tagline was, but this is the place where conversation is the foundation for higher thought. I'm Bo Schwartz, the Lego of this program, and joining me today, as he joins me every week, is the Constructix of our podcast, Mike Hodgins. Mike, hello.
Hello,
Remember
I have a bet of what Crofton is going to be. Let's see if it holds true.
All right, and also joining us is the Duplo of our show. It's Crofton Steers. Crofton, hello.
Hey, Bo. I'm accessible and easy to use.
How was
I don't
your
think
child?
I know what Duplo is.
It's the big Legos for dumb.
Oh, I was going to say Play-Doh.
No, this is construction toy themed.
Okay.
So, see, I'm Lego, standard. I build the show. You're Constructix because you're like an engineering-y, like you like to build things in a more in-depth way. And Crofton likes Duplo. Like he's just there enjoying the Duplo. He might not get 2 pieces connected, but he's still having a good.
Wait, if we were ice cream, Crofton would be vanilla. No, Bo would be vanilla.
Really?
I'd be.
Wouldn't that be chocolate?
Chocolate. No, Bo would be. Yeah, Bo would. Okay, I don't know. I don't know where this was going.
That analogy just fell apart so fast.
Yeah, I know.
I guess
leave the analogies to the experts.
No, I feel like vanilla is what people's go-to for like the bland thing, but I'm like, it didn't really apply, and then I don't really know what any other flavor relates to. So yeah, that was a fail. Okay.
Mike, it's harder to do those intros than you think, huh? You always mock my making reference to pop culture figures. Trust me, those are complicated. I have a graph.
I'm chocolate fudge. Crofton is Neapolitan, and you're mango sherbet.
I hate sherbet.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like
everybody.
You go for ice cream and someone gives you sherbet, you're gonna be like, "What is this?" Sherbet.
But if you get good sherbet, it's good.
Here's the thing about sherbet is that if you didn't know that ice cream existed, you would think it's good.
Yeah, same with frozen yogurt too. You eat that, you're like, yeah, it's kind of good.
No, it is good. You'd like it.
It's
just that you know that ice cream exists. So, I mean,
on that scale, because you might say the same thing about like, oh, there's ice cream, and then there's like Haagen-Dazs, which is like next level ice cream. But
I've always felt it overrated.
It's a bit. I've had to tone it back. It's definitely much higher fat content, but it's too much. You can't eat much of that stuff.
What's great about it is that it's hard.
I'll take that challenge.
I like it because it's hard.
Eating it?
Well, the ice cream, because like it's not soft ice cream. Haagen-Dazs is like you got to chip away at it when you first open a container of Haagen-Dazs. It's good. I like that.
I mean, it's good. It's just that it's intense. It's very rich.
I really left that out there for you guys to jump all over. Kudos to you and your maturity for not, commenting on the fact that I just, said I like it hard, and you guys didn't have anything to say about it.
And kudos to you for trying to bring it back up and make sure.
and then following it up with statements like, "I pulled it out and threw it out there, and you guys didn't jump on it." And all that stuff. You're really trying to lure us in. But I was too busy sponsoring Haagen-Dazs.
Okay, that's true. Good, Bad, or Bullshit. This episode brought to you by Haagen-Dazs. They've helped fund.
If you're listening, Haagen-Dazs CEO. Which I'm sure you are. Please send us some ice cream. So I guess we just sort of said it wasn't that good, but no, we know it's good.
Yeah. Also, please don't sue us.
Sue us.
Speaking of suing,
yeah. All right, let's move on and get a random topic going.
Yeah,
I'm sure our listeners loved our conversation about ice cream and construction toys, but let's talk about something a little more sophisticated. We'll see if that statement's an ironic statement in about 20 seconds. Mike, get it going.
topic today is beards, or I guess more broadly, just facial hair. But beards is like,
Okay. Yep. Beards. Something unlike the wine episode. Something we're all familiar with, I believe.
Well, all of us except Crofton.
Yeah, Crofton. Have you ever? You kind of sported a bit of a beard.
Instead of goatee once.
Yeah.
I have had a goatee.
Multiple times, I think. Once or twice.
Are you...
I can't grow facial hair in certain parts of my face.
Yeah.
Oh.
Though it's funny, the goatee is my go-to douchebag facial hair. You think someone has a goatee, you think they're a douchebag.
So
I will say you didn't look like a douchebag with one.
A goatee is not just a little tickler.
No, I think that's called a pinch.
Oh, or a sea tickler sometimes.
Or no, a soul patch. A
soul patch.
The pinch, I guess, is just on the actual chin.
There's
a lot of terms for the variations of facial hair.
Right. Yeah, the thing is that like there was a guy I went to high school with, and we were like 14 or 15, and he was growing so much facial hair, it was crazy. Like to the point that he'd shave in the morning, and then by 2:30 recess or whatever, he had like a 5 o'clock shadow, and really just insane. And I was thinking that if say we were not allowed by society to have beards or mustaches, you had to be clean shaven at all times, he would essentially be screwed. Like he should have a beard. This whole beard fashion stuff, like he should be embracing that and loving that. So for people like that, I think more power to them. They get to have some beards. It's just such a hot thing right now. It's annoying.
Yeah, some people can really grow a beard. I'm sort of somewhere in between. I only could grow a proper beard probably when I was around, I was going to say 30, but probably even more like 32 before finally the last patchy areas kind of fill in. And it's not a thick beard. Some people grow a beard and it looks like a rug on their face. Like it's just like thick, like you could hang something in it and it would just stay there. And on my beard, like it kind of looks like a beard, but I think that's the thing. Like a wispy beard just doesn't feel like a real beard. I feel like a beard should be pretty thick.
Well, but like not everyone can control the hair they grow on their face.
Right? Not everyone. You mean some people can? Because who would that be? I can't.
Okay. No one can control the hair grown on their face. Then.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for keeping me correct. So it's kind of hard to be like it. Doesn't that make people feel bad if you're like it's not a real beard unless you really grow a beard?
Well, it just is what it is. Like I mean, there are some, and it's a lot of it is ethnicities. Some ethnicities or people of certain backgrounds can't grow beards at all, men included, and others ethnicities like Crofton said. Some people, I don't know what the background of your friend was in high school, but some people are crazy beard growers. And it makes me think. I had some friends a while back that were like, we were talking about what the purpose of a beard was, because first of all, not everyone can grow them, and women can't grow them, so that's like half the population, right there. And they'd be like, what purpose does a beard serve? And they were very much like, oh, it's to keep your face warm. And I was like, that's totally not true at all. There's no way that it can be true, but again, it was like, what is the purpose of a beard? I mean, I have my theories. I thought I'd put it to you guys right now. What do you guys think the purpose of a beard is?
Okay, like why human beings grow facial hair?
Yeah, or... why you men?
There's a reason, isn't it? To keep like dirt or something away.
I think it would do the opposite.
not like food crumbs, but like actual. I don't know. Isn't the object of hair to somewhat No, I have no idea what I'm talking about.
To disguise. It's a disguise.
It's a disguise. It's it's to survive in the wild. The bear thinks it's something tasty. It sees a furry thing and says, "Oh, it's another bear. I'll move along."
Yeah, it is interesting. Like it's a good question. I have no idea why, just the male of the species. Like I know we're evolved from there's a few things I know. I know we're evolved from chimps. I know Bo is Googling this right now.
That's actually not true, but go ahead. They're our
Well,
closest relative, but
oh,
we're
right,
not
right.
descended.
But like we're evolved from the same whatever. You know what I'm talking
one
about.
ancestor like millions of years ago.
Yeah, who was probably more closely associated with chimps than associated with us, right? So I think so. I think if you looked at Australopithecus, yeah, that's right, Australopithecus. Look it up. You would see more. No, that's okay, Mike. You can look it up. Like Bo's looking it up right now. You would see that Australopithecus looks more like a chimp than it does a human. I rest my case. I rest my case. What were we talking about again?
Hairiness. I mean, yes, like it's funny when you think about it that way. To be like, oh, as human beings evolve, we seem to be losing our hair, and it wouldn't. It almost seems like, oh, those of us who are the hairy are more closely linked. Actually, that makes me think of something that's interesting because if you're of European descent, and most people, when I think of like cultures who grow less or have less thick beards, I tend to think like people of African descent, of some African descent, don't grow much facial hair, and Asian cultures. And I also have heard that pretty much if you're of European descent, you definitely have Neanderthal DNA because they said that Neanderthals, who Crofton, we're not descended from, but we have shared ancestors and we're closely related to. And
that's the current theory.
Interbred with Neanderthals. Well, they said that that's kind of proven, but that most of the African population doesn't have any Neanderthal DNA in it. So I wonder if just being like maybe beardy people are just like we got a bit of the Neanderthal in us.
Is it Neanderthal or Neanderthal? Because whenever you say Neanderthal, you're pissing me off. I'm pretty sure it's Neanderthal.
Well, I know that it's Neanderthal, but if you want to look it up, you can go ahead and do so. But anyways,
I don't know. I can't. I've heard both.
Listen to lots of science shows, and I've heard it being like it's not Neanderthal; it's pronounced Neanderthal.
I defer to Mike because
maybe where I've heard that is wrong, but that's what I've heard.
I'm pretty sure I heard Pauly Shore say Neanderthal in Encino Man.
Well, that makes it conclusive.
Well, I win.
Pauly Shore is never wrong.
That's funny.
So back to beards. The point being is we have no idea why we still have beards.
So these friends of mine, we were having this conversation, they were like, "Oh, it's to keep you warm." And then my instant reaction was like, "Okay, then why do the Inuit not have big beards?" And he was like, because I'm like, they're the human beings that live in the coldest places, and they don't grow big beards. And then and some people often you see Italians can grow some good beards, and it's hot in Italy. And so why do they have?
I think it was the opposite. Doesn't hair keep you cool? Is it like?
No. When I've had a beard, it's not cooled me down. I'll tell you that.
No, like you might feel hot, but actually, in effect, it does something with the sweat or something like that.
One thing
like because animals have giant coats of fur and they run around in the summer.
Yeah, but they cool in different ways than we do. We cool by sweating, but animals don't sweat.
The people who are listening to this, I feel them getting stupider with every moment, with every passing moment. I want to go into areas I'm more comfortable, and that is talking about douchey hipster beards, because I remember and this is one of the merits of knowing people for a long time. You can throw back their old opinions in their faces. But I know Mike from since he was 19 and had a hard time growing facial hair, and I remember he would always talk. 19, 20-year-old Mike about how awesome beards were and how cool it would be to grow beard, and especially
it was ahead of the time.
And especially he old people like Gandalf the Grey, fictional character incidentally, and big white beards a la Santa Claus or gray beards were of immense appeal to young Mike. And now it's just
some things never change, Groff.
It's just like everybody is like, okay, yeah, beards are awesome, and there's all sorts of different styles, but people are wearing beards like crazy, and I feel like some people, it's even the people that it does suit. I feel like I've become cynical about it, and I see them, and I think these people are just wearing douchey hipster beards because it's the in thing to do, and it's making me anti-beard, and I don't necessarily want to be, but like I can't grow a beard, so I'm already kind of inclined to be against them. But also the fact that they're so like hipstery right now. You see people putting that wax stuff in them. You ever seen
Yeah.
that? Oh, drives
Yeah,
me
it's kind of
nuts.
weird. Yeah, no, I hear you. And I find the hipster beard particularly interesting in that I think there's something about. So I hate shaving personally, but yet I don't really want a beard most of the time. So I'm between a rock and a hard place, right? Because he's like, if you don't want a beard and you don't want to shave, well, you're out of luck. Uh, so to grow a beard involves just doing nothing, right? You just don't have to shave your
It's
face.
true.
But
It's true.
so that's a strong appeal to me, and I would think to Crofton too.
It is. If I could grow a beard, I would like to. And also the fact that the thing that's worse is the in between. Like, the before you're at the point of acceptable bearddom,
That's what I got going on right now.
you're almost a little past. I would say you'd want to be a little bit earlier.
Really, this makes sense actually because I feel like you live by your principles. I
Me?
very rarely no Crofton. I very rarely see him. I very rarely see you with facial hair. Like you have it. I've seen you with it, but you shave. You're pretty committed to shaving, right?
Well, it's because I look horrible. See, the problem the problem is like I can barely grow facial hair.
Yeah.
And when I do grow facial hair, I can get it looking half decent after like 2 weeks. But for those 2 weeks, I look horrible. And I don't mind like on a Thursday, Friday, like Thursday, then not shaving Friday, and then not shaving Saturday, and then not shaving Sunday. And then by the end of Sunday, I look like somebody you wouldn't trust.
I guess more what
I
I'm saying
guess.
is, but even not with the beard, like 5 o'clock shadow can be kind of a look. Like
But
even like there's a point now where I'm just like I probably would shave it, but I just didn't, and it's probably a little longer than that. But like you don't really like. There's a lot of people who shave regularly who just shave, and that's.
But see, again, and all faces are different, and going back to sort of the DNA thing, and for me, if I don't shave, my 5 o'clock shadow looks ridiculous because there's spots where I don't have it. Right? It's not like a uniform thing where it's across my face. Like my mustache here doesn't connect. I'm not sure if it totally connects down below. So I mean, it's just what you're gonna do. I would like to be a lazy person because that's my nature and not shave. But if I don't, then I look like an untrustworthy, like cartoon villain, stereotypical Frenchman from racist American films. Where it's like, oh, I will show you the way, Dr. Jones, or whatever. Like where I look super.
You're kind of making that sound good and not sound bad to me.
It's bad.
Well, the point I was going to make about the you bring up the hipster beard and all that. So, and I do like, especially on an old person who's like, I'm old, I got no one to impress, I'm going to grow a big white beard and grow my hair long and look like Gandalf because I'm old. And I'm like, that's always awesome. I kind of commend all the old men who've rocked that over the years, and
the young men who've done that.
Well, yeah, well that too. Okay, now if you're now, as long as you're a young person, and I've been there where I've been like, okay, I'm not cutting my hair for a couple of years, and you know what, I'm just not going to shave for a while too, and you just look like a haggard, hermit with all this, because I feel like those things go hand in hand. What I kind of peeves me about the hipster look is often you'll see these guys walking around with like 12-inch long beards, huge beards that took like 3 or 4 years to grow. And they have these like this coiffed pomade hairstyle on the top. It's just like they've just come from the barber and everything is just done to a T, and it's all like this comb over with like gel down. And they have this, looks like there could be 3 birds nesting in this giant thing they have hanging off their face. And I'm like, those things clash inherently to me, where you have this like perfectly coiffed hairstyle and then this massive unkempt beard. But yet that's a hipster's thing, and I'm just like, it just bothers me because it's like non-congruous, and I don't like it.
It's interesting though, because in the last Canadian election, Thomas Mulcair was running for prime minister, and he has a beard, and there was much made that he would be either the first sitting prime minister or the first one in a really long time to have facial hair. Um, and and I find that once upon a time, like in history, if you go back and you look at all the high society people, like that, they would all have beards, or it was likely like the time of the founding fathers in the states and all that, they would have beards. Benjamin Franklin or whatever, any of those
I don't
guys.
think any of those people had beards.
There's there was once upon a time where beards
I know
were
what you mean, but I
a
don't think
mark of class in society.
I don't think I know what you mean exactly, but I don't think, say, George Washington or Jefferson or Benjamin Franklin had beards.
But
Ben
then
Franklin. Oh no, maybe he didn't.
No,
Actually.
Lincoln,
He's
yeah,
often
but
pictured without.
I know what you mean. The point is, you're absolutely right. There are certain times where beards were the thing.
And they were also like a classy society.
Sure.
Society. We talked about wine last episode. Like beards fell
Or
into
like
that.
even the massive lamb chops were a thing
Yeah,
among
exactly.
politicians. Yeah.
And now it's funny because my dad I find these books of him on these backpacking trips in the 70s, and he's got these giant beards, and it was associated with, like, the hippies in the 70s. And at the time, everybody, like, the military look, the business look, the everything is like being clean shaven. In Mad Men, I think everybody is clean shaven or whatever. That time, that is now what is associated with professionalism, and beards or have been for the past at least 30, 40, 50 years associated with, looking a little rough, like, if especially if you
Counterculture.
yeah, especially if you're younger. I feel like the hipster thing may be making beards more mainstream again. Like, I think that could be a benefit of it. They could be becoming more acceptable in professional environments, which
Well,
they
don't tell that to a hipster, or they'll shave them all off. That's the way they work, right?
but yeah, and maybe the reason that I dislike all the hipster beards and stuff like that is partly due to the fact that it's just being a hipster myself, being counterculture, being like, this is the hot thing. They don't really care about beards. They're not growing them for the right beard growing reasons.
Right.
They're just
laziness. That's the right reason.
That's the right reason, and they know it. But they're grooming themselves style wise in a style that I can't appreciate because I'm old and curmudgeon-y. And to top it off, I can't grow them myself. But I do think that beards are, I mean, they generally look pretty good. I find when I see somebody with a beard and I get past my hated stereotype, they're also really good for disguising ugly people. And no offense to my dad, who was a good looking guy, but he had a mustache pretty much his entire life. And one summer he decided to shave off that mustache, and pretty much the whole family revolted, and he had to grow it back. And it just turns out that he has, I guess, what you would call a weak upper lip, and that the mustache filled it out. And when it was gone, we couldn't get used to it. And it's funny, to this day I see pictures of him and my grandfather who is the same way, and I'm like, oh yeah. So it was beneficial. It was beneficial for him, and so I can see a beard being beneficial in that way for helping people with weak chins.
My dad's had a giant handlebar mustache for like 15 years, and has had some big beards in his day too. He almost never has no facial hair, and at this point I'm like, what would he look like without it? I mean, it definitely becomes a staple of some people's face. Some people like commit to the beard, and that's just it. Like you mentioned, Thomas Mulcair, like he couldn't, like on April Fools, he had a picture of himself pretending to shave his beard, and you're like, some people are never going to shave their beards. It's just like, they
I'm one of those. I'm one of those people. On the odd occasion that I trim my face, I'm like, oh my god, my face is so ugly. Like I'm just like, I don't recognize myself when, and I don't know why I've picked this shape. So let's talk about my beard, which is, what do you call that? It's not quite a goatee. It's just a patch of hair around my lips. Is
Well,
that a goatee?
it's kind of falling into a beard. You let it kind of go underneath your chin and stuff.
I'm not
you
very
know?
good at actually making the beard shape.
I
On my
think you should
face.
just grow a full beard, Bo. I think it sort of suits you in a way.
Now,
Yeah, I think so
for those
too.
of you
But
listening on the podcast version and not seeing the video, I would encourage you to look up the video, and then I would encourage you to go back to an early episode of Good, Bad, or Bullshit and pull it up and look at Bo's beard then, because he had perhaps one of
yeah.
the most epic beards that I've ever seen
You did?
on a person.
You don't remember my beard?
You
No,
don't remember
no.
his beard?
Oh,
Mentally blocking it? Because
no.
I
I'm
don't
just confusing
understand.
him with various homeless people who live around.
Oh yeah, you would definitely confuse him with various homeless people. Also, I think he decided not to cut his hair at the same time, so it just sort of at one point became one mass.
Yeah,
He's
so
very
he's doing it for the right reasons.
he's very close to becoming Animal from the Muppets.
I like that I'm doing it for the right reasons.
Extreme laziness and disdain for civil society.
Yeah, yeah.
I do think, like, coming back to that conversation I was having with those guys about like what the purpose of a beard is, and I mean, I think ultimately in some ways it's sex is the thing that it's about. Like, men have beards to kind of be like display like testosterone, or that they're different. Like, that's, I think, the actual reason for them, because it's not for keeping you warm. Having had a beard in the wintertime, I would tell you that when your snot and phlegm gets all frozen into your beard and snow gets frozen in there and melts when you come in, it's not a comfortable sensation and doesn't really keep you. It might take the edge off the wind a little bit in the winter, but it's not for warmth. It's doing more annoying things than it is good things. And again, to be like, and why wouldn't the Inuit have evolved big, huge, bushy beards? They have not. So, the only reason I can see is it's just like, maybe the man with the biggest, bushiest beard seems the most manly and has more kids in certain cultures.
Is there religions or anything like that prize having a big beard? Is that
like Sikhism? I think you're prohibited to shave your beard or cut your hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why they wear a turban, because that the hair is bound up in there and they're not supposed to display it, and they're well kept. But I think my understanding is they don't ever cut their hair, including beard.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like such a crazy thing to. But again, I come from a place of weakness in that I can't really grow one. So I'd be like, if we were in a society where it's like, you will be judged by the girth of your beard, I would be like, uh-oh, I better try and escape now because I'm going to get executed or I'll become a slave class. But because your dad, Mike, and probably you as well, like I associate with like sort of, he's able to grow. He would be not out of place in one of those old mutton chop parties of the 1700s or something along those lines. Neither would Bo, for that matter, except for his uncouthness, obviously.
Yeah, my brother can grow a solid beard too. My beard, I don't feel like that solid. I'm maybe the least manly of my.
I like your beard. I think you have ample beardage.
Thank you, Bo.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. If you meet somebody, just nothing about them, another man, obviously, nothing about them. One has a beard, one is completely clean shaven, and one has like Bo's facial hair. What is your instant reaction to each of these? Who do you trust the most? Who do you think is the most sketchy? Who do you have favorable feelings to? Who do you have less than favorable feelings to? Or is it all equal when you see these, like, book by their cover? What does the facial hair do for you when you meet somebody?
I don't want to be this is gonna come across as me being a dick, and I'm not being a dick, but like, I wouldn't never judge someone on that merit.
It would have some sort of effect. You judge someone when you meet somebody. The whole way they package themselves, it's having some sort of effect on you. It's not coming across as a dick to be like, oh, I'm more like, because I have a beard and this person has a beard. When I see somebody who has a beard, I feel a greater affinity to them. Something like that. Yeah. Or
I see what you're saying. It's like what they do with. They're doing these the racism tests when like somebody does something in a restaurant and everyone rushes to defend the black person, but when a white person does it, they take the white person's side or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you mean like that, at that level, that instinctive
or also,
precognitive level.
Yeah.
Who do you think?
Or if you were getting service somewhere and the person came up to the the cash or the whatever, and had a big beard, or a goatee, or was clean shaven, what would be your reaction?
If I'm being honest, then I don't like this answer. I don't like the honest answer. It's the clean shaven person.
You would feel what?
I would feel just that they're they're either more professional, they care more about their appearance because they tend to it in this way, based on the bias of the culture I'm in,
right?
To signify that they are someone who, at the very least, appears to want to be trustworthy.
Because I'll tell you,
but I don't like that I say that. Like, this is me saying, like, that's probably my precognitive bias. I don't know if precognitive is the right word, but.
Well, okay. Before I say, Mike, what do you think?
I really think it's highly dependent on the person. Like, some people face just no. I'm sorry, but
sorry, Crofton, we're having a hard time.
I asked you to take all that away, just like based on that one element. You can totally do that. Anybody can. I'm about to as well. It's just you're trying to dodge.
No, I think that it's like, I mean, in my honest answer is kind of like, I tend to like bigger people when they have beards, and when smaller people don't have beards, I find they suit bigger people better. I don't know why.
Okay,
if you don't have to stare at their fat double chin, that's
no. No. It kind of goes with it when I think because when I think of beards, I think of like big masculine. Like, there was what is it? The movie Commando, where Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's also a big guy, not in a different sense, had a giant beard, and he was carrying a tree on his shoulder. And he looked super cool. And I was like, and I remember thinking Arnold Schwarzenegger should always have a beard because he looks so cool. And similarly, when we talked about UFC in this, I hate the UFC, but occasionally there's one of those big heavyweight guys who has a big beard. And I'm like, yeah, I like that. That works. Like, to be a big giant person, whether you're fat or muscle, and having a big beard, to me, that, like, I like that. But I think conversely, I don't think I like it on like a wispy person. It just seems like it doesn't fit.
If I meet somebody and they have no beard, like they're clean shaven, whatever, I don't think about it. Like, it won't come across ever in my mind, this person is clean shaven, or is taking. I don't have greater thoughts and thinking like, they're more professional or take better care of their appearance. However, if I meet somebody that has a big beard, or even like maybe like a goatee or something like that, I will notice those things. So for me, it's like the person that is shaved is a blank slate, and the other ones are the ones that I'm going to have different emotions for. So like Mike, when he said it would depend on the person, for me, that's true of the person that's just clean shaven. But the two others, I would immediately recognize that they have facial hair, and my takeaway would be generally that they are, like Bo said, less interested in their appearance, unless it was a highly stylized.
Actually, it's not in the sense that they need to be vain, but in the sense that, like, I associate someone with a beard who, as Mike described, someone who doesn't let society tell them what to do. Which means that they're probably going to be more difficult for me to deal with if I need something from them, or if something important comes along. And I don't know if that's a correct conclusion, but I feel like that's where
not.
but our biases are strong, and our instincts are strong, and that's what I'm trying to admit to. It's, if I could just show off and be like, I'm so smart, I know all the right answers to everything, I could say that here, but I'm trying to meet Crofton's challenge of being honest about it, I guess.
I appreciate that. I do think it is ingrained in culture. It's not a huge thing, but it's like, if you see somebody with facial hair, and the greater the facial hair, often the more likely this is, you will start you may, especially in the service industry, you may think like, this person is, not as preoccupied with appearance, and might not take their job as seriously, whatever. Like, you see some businesses, they have to wear hairnets and different things like that. But it's just like, And you also have the whole cleanliness thing too, which is unfair because people take good care of their beards often. Like you'll see people that take great care of them, but like things can, get stuck in your beard. And so because it's like an unknown zone, if you will, people may when you meet someone, you know nothing about them, you don't know how well they take care of their beard, you may think like that's kind of nasty, like, or it might seem dirty or whatever to you, or make the person by proxy seem dirtier. So I think there's a reason, and it's associated too with like the military. You know how you can't grow a beard in the military. You've got to be clean shaven, and they have their
people.
they have their reasons. They
So
have their
bearded
reasons
people aren't
for
the
that.
ones who are going around and killing people. It's the clean-shaven ones, right?
Well,
All
in this
industrialized killings done by the clean-shaven. That's the point of this show so far. I do think it's a sign of maturity, and I think that someone that's like Thomas Mulcair is going for that. Like, because I said I could not grow a proper beard, and I still don't even think I grow a fully legit beard even at this stage. Even though it kind of fills in, it's still not quite to the level of a mature beard, I don't think, and I'm midlife. I think that when a lot of older men can grow a thick beard, and if they trim it well, it can look very presentable. And I do think it's kind of like you've got this. I just think of maturity, and I tend to think of it grandfatherly and like or fatherly in that sense. It's a bit. It is disarming too. I think like I don't think of a beard as aggressive generally. I tend to think of clean shaven as being a bit more aggressive than a beard. Like when I said bigger people, I mean I tend to think of beards as roly poly. Like think of Santa Claus has got a big beard. A lot of our
like it's so you tend to think it softens people.
I think it does soften people, and it shows maybe that people don't take themselves so seriously. We're talking about like being clean shaven. It's like, oh, your business life, you want to be really presentable. Maybe I tend to think of people with beards or people that are just like march to their own beats and are a little bit. You can say it as like they don't care what anyone thinks, or they have poor hygiene, but it might just be that they're just sort of like happy-go-lucky people who's like, I'm going to grow a big jolly beard because I can, and I'm an older person.
Oh, it's possible, and beards are associated with things like Santa Claus and positivity. It's just I'm saying like going down to my gut here. If I meet somebody and everything else is equal, what is going on in the back of my head, right?
I think it a little bit depends on the beard. I think the biases shift based on age of the male, and I guess or female, and just to be gender neutral about the thing. I don't know why.
No, but
but my bias would shift based on age, based on style of beard. A completely unkept beard on an individual is so much more different than the hipster beard. Like we talked about it at great length. So, that I think that's important, but it's an interesting question, and it is something worth thinking about. But on the whole, I have to say that there's a lot of things, you get to be an adult and things happen to your body, and some of it's exciting, some of it's a pain in the ass. And I have to say, like, and I guess I'm verdictizing a little bit here, a little prematurely verdictizing, that I think it's pretty awesome that we get to grow facial hair. And I know girls are always like, oh, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that facial hair. But I'm like, it's actually pretty sweet. It's a sweet deal. There's like, especially considering our bias too is that women have to shave their whole body. It still seems like a good value proposition. I got to shave like half a square foot of
the density
epidermis.
Of hair is a bit different.
What's that?
The density of hair is a bit different.
Sure, but like the itchiness is not. I've shaved my whole body once. I don't know why. I think I heard that people that like work out shave their body, and I'm like, well, why can't we all do it? I don't have to deal with all this hair that I have.
Oh, man,
I got a lot of hair. So I shaved it off because I thought, hey, this would just be breezy. I wouldn't have to deal with all this hair. The next day, I had fucking Oops, excuse me. This is a family show, right? I had rashes everywhere. Because it was like because when it first starts growing in, if you hug somebody, it scratches their face, but you don't feel that. But let me tell you, if your thighs rub together, or I don't know, like your armpit, like, well, my thighs rub together, so and it's just like, like, not to get too gross about it, but if you if you shave everywhere, that stuff will also get scratchy too, and your
I need
special
to
parts.
I need to remember to put an asterisk next to this episode so I can put it in my classification of Bo oversharing episodes. There's at least 9 of them in which I can never ever listen to again. So
I've told
that
you
said,
guys this, no? Okay.
But
no.
I would just echo his point. It is kind of neat to be able to be like, and it's an option that women don't have generally, unless they're.
If only there was a section of the show in which where we normally wrap up our thoughts. That would be so convenient to what you guys are doing right
Sounds
now.
like Crofton's ready for
the
verdicts.
positivity. We were kind of nailing on. Anyways, yeah, okay, let's go.
Crofton's
Let's do
ready
verdicts.
for verdicts. All right, let's do the verdicts time. Bring in the farm animals. Those animals are animals that we don't shave, incidentally.
No, there's clearly some sheep in there.
Yeah, but we don't shave them, even though some.
Yes, we do. Farmers.
What? I wasn't informed of this.
One thing I will say is that the guy leading the charge definitely has a beard.
Yes.
Order, I say. Order in the court.
Sorry, it took some time to get the farm animals in. This is verdict time. This is when we're going to deliver the verdicts on the subject of beards. Who would like to take first shave?
I will. I'll go first.
We'll go from least bearded to most bearded. How about
That's
we
okay.
That may work. So the thing is, before I go into this, when we were kind of ambiguous when we drew the topic. We talked about facial hair, and then we talked about beards. Like facial hair, if we were getting into the nitty gritty of like just having facial hair and whatever, I would have a different opinion probably than I do for beards. We talked about beards this episode, and so that's what I'm delivering a verdict on. And I come, as I mentioned, from a place of follically challenged on the facial region. I don't have much of a beard. I have never had much of a beard before. And I think there's lots of great beards, and I think beards are pretty cool. When I see a sweet beard, I'm like, that's a sweet beard. When Mike was talking about UFC, I thought about this big fat dude, Roy Nelson, who's got his big beard. And I was like, I like that beard. And then sometimes I see people walking down the street and they have beards and I want to punch them in the face. Although I'm scared my hand will get stuck in their beard and then it'll come out with all sorts of gross cooties. Nice. So I don't do it. Also, I'm not a violent person. So I depends on the beard and all that, but not to rehash all the points that we discussed. I do find that it's culturally significant. Depending on the time period, beards have different value, and right now they're hot again in the fashion. At least I think they are. Although I'm very behind in fashion, so they might just be falling out of favor, and I think they're hot. So I could be wrong, but I just find that there's good with beards, there's bad with beards. It's annoying to shave. It's easy to lazily grow a beard, but then sometimes you look bad or you look lazy. Because of all this sort of random information, this is one of the most random verdicts I've ever given. I'm going to say beards are bullshit.
Is there ever such a thing as a bad cookie? Like you put your hand in a guy's beard and you get a cookie out? I think that's a win. I put that in the win column.
He said cooties.
Oh, cooties.
And I think by cooties he means beard lice.
That's what I meant. Beard lice.
Or other types of insects.
Oh, those are not cookies. Okay.
Or leftover sandwiches.
All right. You're the next bearded right now.
Next bearded. Yeah, like there are aspects of a beard. I mean, I guess when you were saying, it's kind of neat that as a man you can choose to grow a beard. And whether you should or not, it's a whole other story because they suit some people and some people they do not suit. I don't know why. I think I fall somewhere in between there. But I've experimented with some facial hair. But generally, in terms of like thinking of are they good, are they bad, are they bullshit, I'm gonna have to agree with Crofton and come down on the bullshit.
Oh, I thought you were more of a proponent of the beard.
I think I'm both ways on, and that's why bullshit topics. It's like if the beard suits your face, grow one, and if it doesn't, then you shouldn't grow one. Like. Because I guess that's why I fall on that. Because like some people want to have a beard and they grow a beard and it looks terrible on them. They can't grow a proper beard. It's not the right shape. Their face doesn't suit a beard and it just looks horrible. But they might think, well, I can technically grow a beard, so I'm going to, and we have to suffer that, and that's horrible. and some people
I like it.
Grow excellent beards, suits their face very well, and every time you see them, you say like, "Why don't you grow your beard back?" Like that's my case with my brother. He grows an excellent beard, but it ages him, so he doesn't like to look aged, so he never grows a beard. Though he looks excellent in a beard. Richard, if you're listening, which I know you're not,
actually, I agree with that. Your brother looks great in a beard.
He does look good, and he grows a good, thick, proper beard. And it's kind of gray now, so he looks doubly like manly. He's all macho too. So some, but that's the thing. It's like they're good on some people, they're good on not. It's just bullshit,
All right, well,
whatever. And the whole fashion implications of it are like whatever.
All right. Well, I think I gave away a little bit of my verdicts. We got 2 bullshits in the hopper, and I'm up next. I gotta say that I've always hated the fact that I've had to shave, and I've always felt compelled to shave because of society. Maybe because of the biases that were instilled by my parents, and in growing up, and what I perceive to be the pressure. I often shave more than I want to. In my heart of hearts, I just want to grow out my face hair. And this is also reflected a bit like my longer relationships. We're always one where they liked 5 o'clock shadow. We talked a bit about the attractiveness, but not really relay any personal stories. And so for me, the short amount of shave was always good, but the long amount was disgusting. But I just like growing the long amount. It's just unfortunate that I had to be born in this time on that one aspect, because I'd love to have a big long beard like in the Dark Ages and get the plague and die. So all that to say is I'm actually a big fan of beards. I like all kinds of beards. I kind of dig the hipster beards. I didn't really come out swinging against you guys because I sort of agree, but I think doing creative, cool things with beards is cool. So in conclusion, I think facial hair is pretty awesome, and we're pretty lucky that we get to grow it. Beards are good. Yeah, I like the beards. Beards are all right. All right. Well, do you have a beard? Do you not have a beard? Do you want to share your thoughts and opinions on beards? You should send us an email, goodbadbull@gmail.com. We'll read it on the air. And if you're listening to this show and want to find out more about where you can get more episodes, like Crofton alluded to, there are some videos somewhere with me having more beard and Mike having long hair. You can find those goodbadbull.com. That's our mothership site for all things good, bad, or bullshit related. You can follow us on Twitter at goodbadbull and find links to Facebook, and also subscribe on iTunes and Google Play. We're on Google Play now, which is really great. What's the last little thing? I think we want to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who help support the show by generously donating just a little bit of money each month, which effectively, for the time being, helps pay for server costs and to make the show happen. So we're very grateful to our patrons for that. If you'd like to be one, go to patreon.com/goodbadbull. All right. I think that about wraps it up. But if you prefer to know more about us individually, we are individuals of an individual nature, as Crofton likes to say, and that I stole shamefully from him, or shamelessly. You can find Crofton. Where can our listeners find you?
They can find me shaving the characters down on my tweets to hit that right number so I can share my wisdom on Twitter at Crofton Steers.
That was real good. That was 10 on 10. I like that one a lot. Mike, if our listeners want to find you, where can they find you?
And just for the record, I'm an individual of a collective sort, not individual.
No, but I was stealing Crofton's saying, so. Crofton.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't make any sense. Or it's redundant. Heavily redundant.
I'm a man of a manly nature.
Mike is an individual of a crabby nature.
Maybe I'll tweet that. I am crabby. I'll do it right now.
I'll retweet it if you tweet it.
At ML Hodgins, I'm gonna tweet it right now. So
right.
Follow my Twitter account, and you can find out what we just said.
More about Mike's moods.
Yeah, and you can check out my individuality at Bo Schwartz. All right, guys. We did a show about beards. I'm pleased with this. I think this is a good topic. This is the first time I've ever had an opportunity publicly to talk about my hair.
So I think it would be cool at one point, and obviously I don't know the technology involved in doing this, but these time lapses? I think it would be really funny to do time lapses because we do videos of this podcast throughout the duration of the podcast, I think it would be funny to do Bo, Mike, and Crofton time lapses and see how our facial and upper body appearance, whatever, has changed in that time. I think it would be pretty funny because I think Mike's and Bo's would be all over the map, like long hair, short hair, up hair, down hair, beards change, big beards, small beards, and then Crofton would just be the same. Hair gets a bit longer, haircut, the same.
I was gonna say indescript white dude of middle age.
I like how
younger age.
I like how, Mike, you're like, apparently I'm crabby on Twitter, and then Crofton's saying this stuff, and you're just like nondescript white person. Nothing special about you.
Grab.
Yeah, I'm crabby.
It's pretty funny.
That's my je ne sais quoi.
My shtick.
Yeah.
My shtick.
You know, it'll hit you. You're having kids. I think probably, Crofton, you'll start seeing the gray streaks.
I just want listeners to know that for those of you that thinks that Mike must be putting on some sort of persona for this show, that no, that's how he is.
We love him for it. We hope you do too.
We love him.
Yeah.
All right, I have to let you guys go right away.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
got that impression. Sorry for delaying. One thing, I just want to give you a little recommendation. When you're trying to put your kid to sleep and you want to read something funny, check out the Donalds and Dragons Twitter account. It's photoshopped images.
You're gonna start reading our kids' Twitter accounts. They're like one.
No, not to your kids, just for yourself while you're slinging
I'll
them
say
to
that
sleep.
to my toddler. Oh, Ivan, you really need to get on social media more.
No. All right, bye. No, it's a really funny Twitter account because it's photoshopped images of Donald Trump playing Dungeons and Dragons with people. Yeah. He's like, I'm the best DM. All of the DMs are it's more clever than what I'm saying actually, but
yeah.
Hang on.
Oh, I'm sure.
Here, it's something you can follow on Twitter. I'm putting in the Skype thing right now. I think you'll actually.
I'm not gonna follow it. Oh, maybe I should.
Yeah, it's like, hey, there's something funny that I think you'd like. You're like, I don't want to. Shut up.
Go like my tweet.
Yeah. Oh, I retweeted it.
Already? That was quick.
Yeah, I told you. I get a ding on my phone, like a thing.
And then you instantly retweet it.
Yep. All right, live stream listeners, thanks for watching. Tune in next time. The video got all screwed up, but I'm not fixing it. Bye.
I'm not.